Good evening. My name is Brittany Eason, and today I'm going to be talking about the how to's of building partnerships with families. The first topic I'm going to discuss is interventionists take time to get to know the family. And I feel like this is very important because family to some people is everything. So, being an early interventionist and also an educator, we have to make sure that we listen to all of the family's requests, all of the family's needs, anything that they feel we are needing to do with their child. We're going to have to be prepared for negativity, positivity. It's all going to come with being an early interventionist. Some parents may not like what you're doing, some parents may enjoy what you're doing, but that just makes you a better person. It helps you to grow, it helps you to learn what you're needing to change and what you're needing to do to fit every family's needs because every family is going to be different. So you'll have to learn, how to work with different families, different backgrounds, different ethnicities, excuse me. And it's going to be hard, but being an early interventionist, that is something that you're going to want to have to do. But with time, it'll come. But I do think that working with families is important because I like being a big part in my daughter's school, her education. I try to do PTA meetings, anything that I can to help out, just because I know how hard it is trying to be a teacher. Okay, so the second post I'm going to discuss is the role of the child with a disability. I feel like the role for them, we want them to learn as much as possible. So we want to help them reach those goals, and we want to give them those goals and make them achievable. We don't want to make them too high, we don't want to make them too low. We just want that child to reach those goals and get to where they need to be. We want to help them out as much as possible. And so, being an early interventionist, it'll help them, become their own. It'll help them learn to grow and learn what they're needing to do and what we're wanting them to do. And it's not that we want to push them and make them feel overwhelmed, but we do know that there are boundaries when it comes to special needs children. But we don't want to limit them because we want them to feel limitless. So I just feel like the child's role is to try as hard as they can. Try, show us that perseverance, and everything else will fall into place. So I think that's important, to push that child and help them get where they need to be and try not to give up on them because we know it gets hard. So I think that's a good role for a child with a disability. Um, the third topic I'm going to discuss is services and supports are developed for the whole family. I think this is important because there may be a child in the family with special disabilities, but then there may be another child who doesn't have disabilities. So we don't want to make the child with disabilities feel that they're left out or anything. So planning your lessons as a whole will help them, it can help the family, it can help the child with the special needs, and it can also help the child that doesn't have special needs. And that'll also be beneficial for the parent because if we're trying to keep those lessons along the same line, it'll help them in the long run. So that way they're not having to try to do homework here and try to do homework there. Or even if they do have to do that, we could, if they have an older sibling, we could teach the older sibling to help them understand the lesson for the child with special needs. And then that way they could help in that area. And then the parent could help out with the smaller child who doesn't have disabilities. There's just a lot of different things that can be done to help these children and help these families as a whole. Because sometimes the families don't have a lot of support, and you may be their biggest support that they have. So, you taking that time out of your schedule, your busy day, to even make a phone call or write an email, speak with them, that can make a difference in their life. So we want to be able to do that and, just help keep them uplifted. And I want to talk about the families being actively included in planning and decision making. I do think that a child with an IEP, their parents should be involved. I know that these are done yearly and the parents do have to attend, but sometimes some parents may seem distant. They don't like to grasp the fact that their child may have a disability or that they have a disability. So they kind of stand away and they don't want to speak about it. But we know what is best for the child. They know what is best for their child. But we need to come together to help them understand that this has to be done. We are trying to do the best that we can for you and your child. So including them in the practices and decision makings of their child is going to be very important. We want to make sure that they continue to not only do it yearly, but we want to just keep this up, because sometimes it can get hard. They may fall off track, but that's why we're there to help them and give them that push that they need, give them that support in that decision making. So some decisions may be having their child read a book at home or read a book at school, or how they're going to get to school, what they feel like we need to help their child with at home or at school. So maybe the child is having an issue at home with maybe reading or following simple instructions, and we aren't having that issue at school. So what we could do is give them the strategies that we have or that we're using at school to help them at home. And that way we can work together, and this will mesh well for both parent, teacher, and student, because everyone will be on the same page. I do think that parents need to be active in their child's education, and decision making is important. I think that's something that it should be touched on more often than not. And the last topic I want to discuss are family strengths and identified and em- emphasized. I do think we need to find family strengths so that way we can pull that from them and also help their child with that. So maybe a mom is very good in math, or she's very good in reading or language, or maybe she's not good in language. So if she has a strength in math, then maybe we can send home other projects for her to work on with that child, and then we focus on the reading in class. So that way we know that that child is getting that extra help that they are needing at school, and mom is helping them at home, since we know that's where they are most of the time. They'll get that help, and then with us they'll get the other help. So I think that there's a lot that goes into being, a good partner with families. It gets hard, I understand, because it takes a village to raise children. And the more support that they have, the more that we can do, more trainings, more anything, it will help the children in the long run. It'll help the parents in the long run, because having a special needs child can be a challenge. But we are here to help these parents with these challenges and help them to help their child be the best that they can be in their educational experience.